Hi, this
Hi.
is my first job, the podcast. Welcome to the show. There was a
I
time when dance and fitness were two different careers. In today's times, it's possible to pursue both. We have with us today Chanchal Patra, who has learnt Odissi, been inspired by Bollywood, and has established her own studio. We'll speak to her on what her career is like, what the opportunities are, and the challenges, and the advice that she has for people looking to break in. For that, however, you'll have to stick around till the end of the show. Chanchal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir, for having me in your show. First of all, I want to congratulate you to bring up such an interesting show for all the audience, especially for the youngsters who do not know what exactly career would be, which career would be a good one for them. So this is going. I mean, I have watched your previous episodes also, so this is going
Okay,
to be a interesting channel to watch for all the youngsters here.
wonderful. That was the original intention, so I hope more young people tune in. Where did your journey begin? What was your childhood like?
My childhood has been a very nice, lavish, nothing like wrong, very struggling childhood. No, my father and mother were quite well established, and I had a good life in my childhood. My daddy and mummy used to encourage me to dance, but not like as a career. Of course, like I was passionate as a child watching Madhuri Sri Devi, so I used to dance in all my family shows or anything like that. So that was my maximum interest or something. My daddy used to tell always, I remember, why don't you write a letter to choreographer Saroj Khan and ask if she will allow you to come to Mumbai? I said, you tum aap aise hi fake rahe ho. You will never allow me to go there only. They said, you try first if you get a letter. But now I really feel I should have tried, and probably I would have gotten an opportunity to work as with Saroj Khan. Now I miss that. But yes, but after that, I was also good with my studies. I was a very studious child. I love computers, so I used to do coding, and eventually I did my computer engineering. I never thought dance and fitness would, right now when I think, I never thought that time that that would be a career. That time probably everyone was either an engineer or a doctor. So that was the system there. I was good. So obviously we took up science. I did my engineering, and then I took up a job in Accenture. I got married. So after that we shifted to US, and for a year I was there, and when I came back there was a bad recession happening. That was probably 2008 or 9, and I didn't get any jobs in engineering, I mean in my general computer job that time, and I was desperate to work somewhere. So then I started doing my teaching. I used to love then also, because I remember when I was small, I used to love teaching my younger brothers. Maths and all were my great subjects. So I started teaching computer and maths in school for a while. I think probably around 5 6 years, till I had my first daughter.
Okay.
After that, I wanted a little. I got a little bored actually of teaching, and I wanted to have time with my children. And eventually, suddenly, what happened? One event was there in my husband's office, where me and my daughter is also a very good dancer, and I was so proud when I used to see her when she was 2 years. She
Right.
knew how to move her hands with music, and also I got to know she has that genes in her. The musicality is there. So I started making her do Odissi when she was 4 or 5 years old, and I also started doing it because I couldn't complete my Odissi when I was a child. Um, Something or the other happened. That's okay. So then, with my daughter, I started my Odissi, and in I think 2012, 15 or 6, no, maybe 17, I did a show with my daughter, and
Okay.
that was a lovely program which everybody appreciated in the show. And then I could feel that I have something, that was because the audience who were watching, they have never seen much of Odyssey. They have they don't know me from my childhood, because previously whenever I used to dance, it was all my daddy's friends and all, waiting about the chakia. But this was a different kind of an audience who was
Right.
appreciating me, and I got to find that there is something within me and which can do it. And
Right.
then just after that, what happened is I met somebody in one of my brother's wedding. So as I was a dancer, all the weddings, Sangeet comes to me by eventually, like, okay, beti ko
Right.
nachna, the department goes to you. So in my brother's
Yeah.
wedding, I was heading it. So there was one team of people who were hired to do the choreography for the Sangeet. And When I started knowing them, they were from my hometown, Puri. When I started knowing them, then I found out what a big progress dance has actually happened from boogie woogie time to what. Because in between, for probably 10 years, I was not in touch with what is happening. I was so busy in my own personal.
Right.
So then I found out that Puri itself, my Odisha itself has progressed. The people, the children are doing so well. I got so connected with that team when they were doing with my family, and I became eventually friends with all of them. I used to hang out with them. And one day, one the team leader, his name is Sangram, he told me, "Why don't you try out the dance show, the Super Mom dance show?" I had
Okay.
actually tried once more in Bombay before that, but I was like, I couldn't make it that time, so I was a little disheartened. Then he told, "Why don't you try the Odisha show?" And I did it. I said, "Okay, let's give a try." Now I had a lot of friends giving me a backup. I knew where, if anything falls wrong, where will they help me out. So I went in and I won the show. So
Wow.
I became the second runner up there. But that whole 2 months of journey made I saw the whole setup happening, what is happening behind, how there are a lot of people with so much of talent in Odisha, but there is no scope or very less scope. A lot of limelight is not there. And when I came back after 2 months to Bombay, and I was missing that whole vibe of dance, everything. I was to miss it. Suddenly that 2 months of journey just finished it.
Yeah, right.
um, then the guy who Sangram, he and me thought of to start in Bombay. He was
Okay.
also looking for an opportunity, and I was looking for, I was okay. I was not having any problem. And then in Bombay 2019, we started our dance and fitness thing in Bombay, and we started providing classes in my society where I used to live and the nearby areas. And 2020 was a COVID time, so it went a little
Right.
back for 1 2 years. After that, again we started up.
Okay, but this is interesting when you say that in Puri, a lot of changes had happened in 10 years. So at that point, what were the people in Puri who were interested in dance doing? What were the opportunities they had, let's say 10 years ago? And what was the change that you saw? Is it that the weddings got bigger, more people were aware of things, TV came in? What were the changes?
I think first of all, the mentality of the parents.
Huh,
Initially, it was always, ये hobby है, art, painting, ये सब hobby है. तुम करो.
yeah,
You study also, but you do this also. That was never like a
right,
big no, and not as a career. Never, nobody used to think that as a career. I
right,
think the dance reality shows which came up, like the Dance India Dance, all these brought a lot of changes in the mentality of overall India, not just only Puri or something, but there
right,
were a lot of things which changed in parents, that okay, there could be a little scope that people can give. Let a child, from after his basic studies of graduation, let him try for 2 3 years. That push was there from parents. "ठीक है, नहीं हुआ, then we will see, you can go back to your own job." So
right.
those things have changed a lot, and especially with parents who have quite a good amount of money, they are very okay with it. But somebody who is not from a very good background probably still have the same kind of a thing, that because it is not easy. Even if it's now reality shows have opened up, or there are more platforms like YouTube or Instagram to promote your thing, but not everybody is lucky enough to crack the limelight and get the money out of it. You may be having the
Right.
limelight, might not have the money, but opportunities have opened up. I would also say social media itself, Instagram and YouTube, has started giving people a lot of limelight and career growth to it.
So let's take Sangram's case. I'm going into that to understand what was he doing before he met you? What were the kind of things that he was doing in order to build a profile and business?
So, as much as when I knew him, he was running this Infinite Moves, which right now we both run it together. He was running it in Puri then. He started in 2011. He has been a hip hop house dancer. He took a lot of trainings from outside. He's a very passionate person. Like, he didn't have a lot of money wise support, but he had his own passion to learn from everywhere. So that was very motivating for me. Somebody who doesn't have any exposure still figured out a lot of things on his own, and has struggled and made it such a big point to establish a studio and to start a career in that. So That's what his point, his exposure. And by the time I have seen DID had come up, Dance India Dance, and he had also gone to apply that. So all those had changed the interest in children to build up a, to be a dancer. They could see that they probably can come on TV. They could also become one Remo D'Souza. They could also become one Dharmesh. That could be one possibility. So those things I could see in the youth in that section then, which when I was there, I had not seen in any of my batchmates, nor in my
Okay.
area.
Yeah.
Nothing. I have
Interesting.
never got exposure to that.
So, did this lead to Orissa itself? Were there shows in the regional channels, and were there shows, real live shows, which happened because of the overall effect of Dance India Dance?
Yes, yes, I would say, yeah, yeah. Because see, initially there was Boogie Woogie, there were shows like that, right?
Right.
But Dance India Dance gave it a quite a bigger platform to people. Maybe it was more of all adults, or after a break, it came up with a different kind of a genre, and it had a different show to show people. But after that, I can see there's a lot of things changed in India regarding dance. Now there is everywhere so many shows, lakhs of dancers in on the platform. So
Yeah,
it is,
it's
yeah,
really it's really exploded. So,
yeah,
which means that one of the things is, as things get popular, the opportunities increase, but the challenges also increase.
yes.
So, how did you go about establishing your studio in Bombay?
So as I told, in 2019 he came up. I was always passionate about all these things, and I was looking for a second career. I was not liking my teaching journey anymore, and I wanted a break. I had two children by then,
Okay.
and I wanted to do something from home, sitting at home, and I can work on that section. So when he came in, I that moment before he just came in, I was thinking, how do I help the Odisha people? When I was in the
Hmm.
show, I got so much of help from them. I got so much of recognition. So I wanted to give back to the people, to what I can do. So I always thought, how do I bring the people from there to Bombay, or how do I provide a work platform for them, and maybe give a path to Bollywood and all. So that was my motive then, to help the people who are talented. So Sangram was the first person who came in. I combined with him. I started working. I brought in some more people from Odisha to start the work. So dance wise, there is not every parent who is looking dance still as a
Right.
career. They still want dance. Every child, every parent wants that every child should have a rhythm base, should have a basic movement. When they go to party, they can move in. So they all put them in classes, dance classes there. But professionally, like how a classical dance drilling is there in hip hop and house, all those western dance forms, also there is a drilling of the foundation, right? Which parents don't want. They just want the
Okay.
direct outcome, like a basic reel banana aa jaye, wo sa hai. So that ways we realized, since from 2019 to now, very less, probably a few children are interested in the basic drilling. But that ways probably we cannot earn much as a business from dance wise. So what we started is we added fitness to our thing. We were basically dancers. So, but because as dancers we had to be fit. We ourselves had our own workout
Right.
programs. तो हमें
Regimen. Yeah.
करना पड़ता, yeah. So these basic things we did. So the dancers workout, which we do every day to drill ourselves, we started teaching people. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, then we of course sat down and found out ki what all training programs we need to do it, so that we can teach people. So that was more of a business oriented work too, so that I sustain the company. When I bought people, paisa to dena hai. So you have to figure out how do I manage the thing. So dance became their passion. They used to go every weekend to do battles and all that. The people who all were working with me, they used to do battles and all that. And Monday to Friday, they were working for money. That's the
Okay.
way they were balancing the whole work. So
Okay.
they knew Monday to Friday they will work with me, and Saturday,
You
Sunday
know,
was their fancy wears.
yeah. But Chanchal, your business is a bit like the gyms, where a lot of people will enroll with enthusiasm. And then when it comes down to, let's say, class number three, four, they'll come for the first two. And then you have to sort of ensure that you're interesting enough, or you have a change in the routine in order to sustain interest and keep it going. Because, like you said, the number of people who stick to something is small, which is a very different business problem to handle. But how did you sort of manage that? And what were your avenues for promotion? How did you go around telling people or pitching the whole idea of the studio?
Yeah, what you're talking about is still a big problem right now because everybody has become like a real like 15-second person. Like everybody wants new things. Every second has to be new. So as a trainer, we find difficult what can we provide. So
Right,
initially we were, of course, I told them we are dancers. So from dancers, we were very creative. Always we are
right.
very creative with what we can do. I remember I went to Maldives once and I saw there were the Maldives is all about water. And I saw one person there holding some big bar like this and dancing around and in the water. I was
Okay,
watching. I enjoyed. I started doing with myself and I enjoyed. And then I went home and figured out what is this all thing. This called Aquafit. It's basically Aqua Zumba or Aquafit. And then I thought this is a very interesting program which I can bring in here. So I studied, we did a training, we did a research work, what could be interesting, right? Now there is something called aqua therapy also, which is done by doctors. Now we are not doctors. So we had to develop a program which is interesting, but um, and effective. Okay. And so we started this Aquafit program. We designed our syllabus, which is basically fitness in water, not like dance in water, not like therapy in water, but in between a fitness in water. So that became quite popular. And probably there are only two or three people in Bombay who do it as a company wise currently. So we are one of the leading one in Bombay. And we do it in many gymkhanas, many societies, and this is a very hit program, but the problem is again monsoons and winters. So that way it
okay,
becomes like a 6 month program,
okay.
three kind of a
Right,
thing. So then
right.
again, what is the 3 months? When we don't want to lose the clients, so 3 months they do aquafit. Then again we try to push them to the land workouts, water workouts,
Okay,
and then land workouts. Like we design a 5 day program for them. There's one more program we have. One day we do weights, one day we do HIT, yoga, functional. These way, when you give different Pilates, different thing, they stick with you. They like it. Okay, we have a different. But then there are certain people. I only will do yoga. This kind of requirements also come, and we try to
yeah,
fulfill whatever. I try and give up, bring out different kind of classes which caters to different. Now initially when we were a team of 3 people. That time it was very difficult to because not everybody is also very versatile. So I had to
right.
figure out how do I run it. But now when I have a team of 10 members, I have now understood the basics, how to handle, how to cater to every kind of client.
Customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So music, you work with notes. When it comes to dance, what is your starting point? It's moves, but how do you figure out a sort of, continuation? What is a piece and how do you construct it?
I would like to repeat, I mean, understand the question a little bit better. What
Okay,
exactly?
so let's say there's a dance routine.
Mm-hmm.
You're creating a new dance routine, like you said, Aqua. Now, what are the steps involved to try and figure out how that should work over what time period and how do you work it out? Because in music, it says, okay, this is the antara, this is the mukhra, this is the kind of thing. So, what is the equivalent in
Uh-huh.
a exercise routine?
So in an exercise routine, you have basic 3 things: the warm
Okay,
up, the exercise, whatever form of exercise, and the cool down. These are the 3 things which is must to be done. Okay,
okay,
so that is completely different from when it comes to dance choreographies. Fitness
okay,
is a different angle. Now, aqua
right,
fitness was a syllabus which was developed, that how from a beginner, how do I bring to advance? What are the steps?
right,
That we design for our clients. That's a different fitness category thing. We do it for Pilates also. We do it for now the person who has started at the first month, and by the 6th month, what if the person is consistent? What is the expectation? What is the syllabus we should do, and what we expect in the growth from the client if they are consistent?
okay,
So that is what we have designed. But when it comes to choreographies, in dance choreographies, it is a completely alag hi dunya hai. So it all depends what is the requirement. First is the song, right? Is that song a classical, semi classical, is it a hip hop house music, is it an afro music? Accordingly it will be designed. Now Second, whom are we doing it for? Are we doing it for Nora Fateh or are we doing it for a normal person? So then
Okay.
the choreography is again designed like that.
Okay.
So yeah, so when we like, so we get a lot of Sangeet choreographies also. We also get for annual functions, competitions, for reality show competitions, sometimes for school competitions. So then the whole, depending who is performing, accordingly the choreography will be done. क्योंकि सबको सब कुछ सूट नहीं करने वाला. Not
Right.
everybody can dance the way everybody will. Everybody's body is different, but everybody can dance. We make sure that, be it anybody, even if the person is on sitting on a chair also, we can make them dance. That is our capacity.
That's really interesting how, the combination of what gets popular on TV then translates into opportunities in small towns, which then drives culture where weddings and sangeets and all these, it's not enough to just have a barat come and then you have the rituals and then go. The sangeet has become a very important part of every wedding now, and it's also an opportunity for great fun. So a lot of people put effort, like you said, into saying, okay, what is the theme for the Sangeet? How do we do it? What are the kind of programs we'll have around it? Which in turn creates opportunities for the kind of teams that you have built now. And,
Yeah.
it goes from there. So what what is it like when you go in for a Sangeet and what happens? Give me a couple of experiences or what you've had when you have done some of those.
So now in Sangeet also sometimes we get a full package deal. Like you will do the
Okay.
whole program from first to end. Sometimes we just get a couple will come. I have to dance for my brother's wedding. You please
Okay.
choreograph that way. So first thing we ask is who is dancing, what are you dancing for, what is the event for, like how are you related to that person. Then they will
Right.
have some music settings in their brain. These are the songs
Right.
I want to do. Then we choose or they choose, whatever. And then finally we have our whole setup of how do we process with it, what is the choreography we need to do. And with a lot of practices, we also ask, do they need background dancers, do they need any props. And then finally in 2-3 sessions, one song basically finishes in 2-3 sessions. That's the way. Very simple. Sangeets are much more simpler. When it comes to the choreographies of um, corporate shows and all, or for annual or the annual functions, no, competitions, that is more challenging because a competition is always to win. That
Right.
becomes
Right.
what
Right. Right.
exactly we can do for them. That way it is challenging.
So competitions, obviously, the level of skill and the amount of practice required is much, much higher. So, what are the kind of things that you have to typically? How long does it take to prepare for a competition, or what are the dynamics at work there?
Now again, the challenge is who is the person performing. If he is a dancer, right, and the person has been dancing for years, then his basics are correct. It will be
Okay.
because somebody who
Yeah.
is a dancer, somebody who hasn't, and want to do it, but rarely in competitions we don't encourage person who don't have a good base and they come up. It becomes, it doesn't look nice because a
Right.
competition is a big thing. So always we ask for person how much they have trained, and we always, the person who is with us, who has been learning with us, it becomes easier for them. Sometimes we get outside children also, sir is good, can you just tell him to choreograph something. That way he we get the request, we do it. But always the point is, who is the dancer. Is the dancer a dancer with a gymnast, is a dancer some classical dancer. And accordingly the choreography is based, looking at where he is going to perform. Is it a school function, is it a reality show? Accordingly we have to level it. All depends on the requirements.
Okay. It's quite intricate as to how these things have evolved. So, what are some of the experiences you've had while choreographing that you recall? Where it's either been a
I'll
uphill
tell you
climb.
one of my things. So when I was in the dance reality show in Odisha for two
Yeah.
months, So every week we had to prepare one or two songs and all of that.
Right.
Initially, I mean, when I went in the show, I was like, okay, try Marte, like that. Nobody thought of like it was just just to go. First episode I went in, the teacher gave me such, that who was my choreographer then. He gave me a lot of steps which were beyond my body's capacity, I guess, more like a jumping out of something. But I also was little more determined, nahi main kar lungi and all that. So I did it, and I got injured, and I was
Oh,
happy. The second episode was very simple. I was very happy. Okay, good. Nothing much, like, I didn't want to do that. But eventually, one episode I remember, there was a theme that you will do something. You need to do something which you have never done before. So I was thinking, and then we somehow came up to Kathak. And in Odisha, there is no Kathak teacher or something like that. We couldn't find. Then finally, we found one Kathak teacher who could teach, because even the choreographer who was assigned to us, he told, I don't know Kathak. I don't know how to teach you. So then, so he told, you find out if you know somebody from Hildu. So we went to one Kathak teacher and we told, we have this show coming up, and please, can you do it? And she told, no, you don't know any Kathak. You have no base of Kathak. Why will I teach you? No, no, what will happen? I got so upset. There's only 5 days, 4 days you get for a thing, and 1, 2 days we are figuring out what to do. I was getting nervous. And then by the time I told you, I had become friends with Sangram and all. So I told Sangram, this is a big issue. I have jumped in. Then he told, he is also hip hop house dancer. So he told, okay, but he is one person who is like a chameleon, very versatile. I was very impressed after this episode of this thing. So he told, don't worry. So he went and sat and he read, YouTube. He kept on seeing some Kathak videos, Kumar's Kathak videos. They were very fast videos. Don't worry. And he started choreographing Kathak for me. I was like, okay. And I had a Odissi base. By then, I had a little bit of Odissi base. So those all hand movements were quite good with me. So he sat one day, we choreographed something, and we finished. And when we presented in the show, everybody was like this, oh my God, you all are looking like professional Kathak dancers. I was so happy with it that, oh God, we managed it so well. And it really came out so well. After that, we again shot it as because that video was done with specific requirements of whatever the show was, but
right.
we knew how to make that Kathak video to more. So then we properly shot near Jagannath temple as a background. You can see our YouTube channel also, it is there. So then we shot the full Kathak video and we kept it. And then that was again, see, he's basically a hip hop house dancer. To have again a classical base, wo bhi 3-4 दिन में, that was very commendable. And me,
Very,
never
yeah,
done. Yeah, from
yeah,
Odissi, I have
yeah,
at least I will say I have a little classical base to do it. He didn't have anything. So then we did to come up in 2-3 days to a new dance form. That's what
yeah,
is a challenge, and that's where, as a dancer, as an artist, you feel कि कुछ तो है तुम में, that you are able
yeah.
to crack it up, all these things.
And that's precisely the point, Chanchal. When there is a amazing amount of pressure to do something, you somehow find a way. Let's say if it was 15 years ago, there was no YouTube, and you had to listen to the diktats of it, may have been far more difficult, but then you may not have had to do anything like this. But
Mm.
now, YouTube has become the kind of learning ground for so many people because it gives you so many options within the same style. So if you start looking for Kathak, it'll just keep serving Kathak upon Kathak videos because it shows that you're interested. And then I'm not saying that it gets easier to practice and master it. That is a
Mm.
different thing altogether. Your base of learning Odyssey for so many years obviously helped. But if you have the groundings in any dance form, then it becomes just that little bit easier to adapt it, or at least carry on for 2 or 3 minutes. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you'll be able to stage
So
an entire
I'll
show.
come to this point. So when parents
Huh,
come and ask me that मेरे बच्चे को क्या सिखाना है, what do I
huh,
teach?
huh,
So after these many years of teaching and learning, I always guide each parent, um, that if your child is a dancer, you might need to do two things with a child. One is join any Indian classical dance.
right.
Any Indian classical dance has, first of all, a career growth is there. You have a chance of getting a Padma Shri or a Padma Bhushan. You have a government recognition. You have certificates for that. You have a career growth. There is a path to it. Okay, so this is one thing, but Indian classical dance could become boring for a child, especially because they do the drilling which is required. And that time, as a parent, you have to force your child, beta, this is important. It is going to give you some fruits in your later part of your life. So that time, if the child will come back, child will not like to, who wants to be drilled. So it is our parent thing. And with my child also, that me and her, both of us keep on, pushing, motivating each other that we need to finish, we need to do this. There is a path to it. And Indian classical, any classical dance, I'm not telling any just Odissi or something. All the Indian classical dances have a path, which again the hip hop, house, or the Western dance forms do not have it here in India. They don't have a career path, written career path to it. So I always tell, first choose any Indian classical dance, whatever your child wants. If you still have more time, go for any Western form. Then your child is getting overall all the basics of it. Now always I teach all my parents that make sure the drilling is done. Without drilling, it will be like a real dancer, upar upar ka. That
No,
way it will.
you're right. You're so right that effort of, persisting with it for hours on end and for long stretches. It's not as if you can do 5 minutes and get away with it. You just
Ha.
have to, like you said, it's a drill. It's a
There's no
routine. It's a
there is
drill.
no shortcut to hard work. That is very clear that if you want anything, if you want your child to achieve anything, the hard work has to be put by the child and by the parent. Both has to be there. Then only you can see anything, yourself also. That
Yeah,
way, you cannot escape the drill.
right, right. For you, was it okay in childhood? Were you naturally interested in dance, or your parents were?
So I
They
was
had.
I was born in a joint family, and I exactly don't know where I got the dance things, because my parents, again, I do not know. I don't see any dance kind of a thing in them. But or maybe they never got a scope. I don't know. Maybe mom could have been a dancer.
Right,
She had gotten a
right,
scope, but I have never seen. But I was in an environment where I saw my some sisters were dancing for annual functions or something like that, and I could see that kida in me since bachpana. When I see my photos and all, I was always there on the stage. Koi bhi stage hoga, I'll be on the stage. And
right,
that was there. So my dad and mom were like, okay, go ahead. We had a every New Year party. There was a big stage, and I remember I used to wait for that whole year. From evening 5 o'clock till night 1 o'clock, I'll be dancing on the stage. That was the person I was. So then, whenever there were any shows, my dad used to say, "Go ahead." There was never any restrictions wise, but not like reality shows. Those things were never encouraged in our
right,
system.
right,
Or
right.
family shows, whatever, family events, school events. Those were things there. Then when I went to engineering college, also I used to do my whenever these annual functions, fest and all used to happen. That way, that was my basic. I was on my, I in my mind also had the drill ki dance is not a career. वैसा कभी सोचा ही नहीं था. Odissi also we did for few years, and I think then again 10th standard and all came, then everybody stops that way. Nor was I serious about it. I also would say honestly, I was like, okay, kar rahe hain to kar rahe. I was liking it, but there was no big push from self motivation wasn't there. All these things I realized later in my life. And then
Yeah,
when I think that ki agar tabhi kar leti, things would have been much faster in my
yeah, but
dance
yeah,
career.
but that's a very difficult thing for it to happen at an age when you're not aware of all these things.
So now
Now,
only I can pass my experience to people when I talk to them. Any
yeah,
parent, my
yeah,
own daughter, I keep on telling, don't do
right,
the mistake which I have done. But right now, at least, in my life, I can see if I have not done in my childhood, I have the scope of doing it. I can
right,
still pursue it, right? Because whatever, I
right,
have a good family background to do it. There's nothing like I don't have time or I cannot give time to this. I have it. So I have been lucky, touched enough for all of those kind of
yeah.
stuff. And but beyond that, also right now, if also I've seen many people who are working and they have this passion, they still pursue it. They are balancing
No,
both very well.
you're right. And at the end of it, you don't have to keep exercising alone. It's not that you need to hit the gym. Dance itself can be a terrific form of retaining not just fitness but grace, because I think you naturally your movements get to be a lot more fluid. The way you walk, the way you move around just gets that much better because you're a dancer. or don't you believe that that is true?
Not at all. You know, dance itself adds lots of elements to your life, your brain growth. Whenever
Yeah,
there's a thing why a child should dance, yes, you see a dancer and a non-dancer. There is a lot of composed thing in a dancer. A child will always have more, creativity in his body. Then there will be a composed brain. His if and I'm sure there are many researches also I've read about how dance helps in the brain growth and all those things of a
right.
child. That is of course there. Now beyond that also, that having any passion in your life gives you a lot of sanity, satisfaction, happiness, especially at the age of 40s, 50s, when you're still pursuing it. You really feel ki, good, I have something which, because our normal jobs, 9 to 5 jobs or any businesses we are doing, there are a lot of ups and downs. It's not going to be easy. Like when I'm running my business, when I have 10 people under me, everybody's telling, ma'am, increase salary, increase this, whatever that. You need to there's a lot of clients, customers handling is one of the biggest challenges I face
Biggest
in my
challenge.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Giving everything, making sure every client is happy. So those are stressful stuff. And with your own families, my children are growing, time management, everything. So, but when I dance, and especially when I dance for my shows, when I'm dancing for myself, that 1 hour, 2 hours is peace, is stress free, is comforting, uh, is when sometimes I'm just in once a month when I'm thrown in a party to dance. If you could ever see me that time, it's like, what am I? I mean in a different world, fully enjoying, forgetting who's there, what's not there. But that happiness is there. Or sometimes when I've just put music on in my hall and I'm dancing, those are my times which makes me feel, and performing on shows gives me such a big high. That applause
wonderful.
from the clients, from the people, that's why my high point in my life. So those things, so when you have this passion going on with your work, for me my passion and work has merged a bit. So
Yeah, it's no, that's possibly the best combination of all, because
yes,
in cases where people don't have, where you're making good money out of whatever you do in a profession, but you don't enjoy it. It's
yeah,
almost a curse because you don't enjoy yourself, but you're making money. So it's a very hard thing to
thing
straddle.
to run. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think
No.
now, even I realized initially it is tough. But suppose your bad job is also giving you good money,
Yeah.
probably a lot of people
The
stick to it.
compromise you make. Yeah, it's something that you have to live with. There's it's something that you have to go through and then find your pleasures or passions elsewhere. Now
That's
tell
where
me.
passion helps you.
Yeah, so Chanchal, tell me, which kind of music is gets you going? Do you have affinity for a particular kind, or do you think that okay, any kind of music as long as it has a rhythm and something? Have you found that you
So it will again be a
perform?
little bit of mood wise.
Okay.
Like yeah, there could be sometimes mood, but yes, when it is coming to a comfort zone of dancing, like suppose I have to perform somewhere or I have to do something, I'll probably go for a classical, semi-classical, or a Bollywood kind of a section. That is where if I have to showcase my highlights to the people. And sometimes when you're talking about my own personal space of dancing, it depends on the mood. Sometimes in a very happy mood, then I'll be in a very happy poppy party music. But sometimes when I'm in a sad mood, there will be all contemporary kind of a music going on. Then there will be certain
Okay.
times where it is all ghazal nights going on. So that's a different time where I do it for my peace and my time. And especially I remember in the COVID time, which was two long
Yeah.
long times we were at home every night, just to make that liveliness in my home. I used to always party in the night 1 hour with my children. That
Okay.
30-40 minutes of light dimmed off and mad dancing. That always gave my children a very vibrant, happy time in the COVID sad times. So that way, that was our going then.
Yeah, and that's great memories to cherish when you're older, because those are the times when you really enjoyed yourself. And even though, yes, like you said, times were difficult at that point.
Mm.
Now, Managing a business versus, doing everything else. What is your split of practice versus how much of time do you find you have to devote to running the business versus managing the rest of the stuff?
So initially, it was very khichdi in my life because I was myself first time being an entrepreneur, first time understanding how to handle people under me. That way, what is the business requirement? So initially, the year of 2019 was very figuring out kind of a age, and 2020 became again from we had to jump from
Yeah.
all offline to online. That became one more challenge to handle. With that, you're stuck at home, so managing, no, I didn't have by, and that was my one of the time when I didn't have any help. By luck, till now I always had help in my house. That was the only 6 months I was like, oh god, no help. Then COVID and running the business, so that time was very difficult to manage online classes, to manage children, to manage food. Everything was tasking
Right.
for me. Then after the COVID times went away, things had become a little more ingrained in me. What exactly are the requirements for the market, for the clients, for my people, what I can sustain with, whatever I can. So right now it is very much streamlined. What we do is, right now I have connected with all the WhatsApp groups in Bombay and the social media ways. That's the way I promote my classes or the upcoming things. Like when the summers are coming, the Aqua is promoted madly. After that, again, this Pilates, all the land workouts will be promoted, and then the dance classes are going on. That's not, that they don't have a season. This has more of a little bit of season, so we keep on promoting. And by far more, I will say, my classes have been running because of word of mouth. They always, one person likes it, they keep on telling. It's growing, it's still in a very not like developed stage, it's growing on. And slowly everybody knows that we are a company which provide trainers all over Bombay. So whoever needs personal classes, group classes, that's the way I could. Because see, in Bombay, opening up a studio is not easy. The
Yes.
rentals are very difficult to
Right.
manage
Yeah.
than the revenue. So what initially, and Bombay has one more advantage is every society has a clubhouse, mostly,
Right.
or a space. So we
Right.
always tell the parents or the clients that we will come to you, because Bombay doesn't have time. They don't have time to come out. So that way we go to the clubs to do the classes, or we go to the clubhouses to do the classes, and the clients come in. So that's the way we have been running for now. And every month, my busiest time is the first week of the month, where I have to balance all the attendances, the maintenance work. Then, otherwise, the next 3 weeks are little more of finding out more new classes for them. And right now, though, well, everything is on me. I am the one who is organizing. Slowly, as it becomes bigger, I will try and divide the,
Find
get
people
more.
to,
Yeah,
yeah.
that.
Okay. So, what is a mix of classes? Is it equal representation of genders, or is it more women than men?
In our classes, it is more of women. In
Okay.
our class.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that other classes or fitness classes don't have it. There are many other classes where men are also part of it. But in our academy, I have seen, I think, 80
Okay.
90% ladies. Yeah.
Right. So, do you think women are naturally more graceful than men?
In dancing wise.
Of course, right?
So the musicality, especially in our age, or my people beyond my age, they, in that section, if you see, it is more of ladies who know dancing better. But
Right.
if you come to the little lower generation, um, the younger generation, they, I think, mix. The men are also equally good in
Dance.
dancing. The percentage of men being taught dancing, like nowadays, children, men or women, girl or boy, all are dancing. So that way, the eventually you will see the generation which are coming. Everybody would know basic dancing. They won't be
Okay.
like, I have a left foot in dancing. You will not
Right.
listen to that much now.
So, the rise of social media has made a big difference to how you're able to get across to a local audience or to spread the word. Do you think so? Has it become your major media vehicle?
I will say somehow in our thing, we have not used the online tool much. Somehow we
Okay.
lack in that. I won't say to that. We could have done, but I think I had loads into me to handle it. So probably we haven't put our things on social media much, which we could
Okay.
have done, and how people have gained it. But I completely believe Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, all this has really given a big platform to people who wanted a path in the entertainment industry and have carved. Like, you might have seen a lot of YouTube stars who have reached to Bollywood also, and that's just
Yeah.
because of their sheer hard work and talent, and they just didn't wait for any auditions or any platform. The YouTube gave them a big platform, which is
Yeah.
tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, earlier, if you looked at it, if you had to get a break, you had to go and meet a dance director, try and get one audience, like you said long ago, Saroj Khan. You would have. Now you just put it up on YouTube, promote it, and if you're really good, then the chances that you will be found, or at
I
least
also
the
think luck matters sometimes. I won't say luck is
yeah,
nothing there. You might be
yeah,
talented and sometimes your luck doesn't favor, you might not. But yes, YouTube has given a platform. There is no more discrimination that you are located here, you are located there. I'm from Puri, I'm from Bombay. Bombay always had a better opportunity of to being
right,
in a Bollywood,
right,
right? So now
right.
that has reduced. I won't say it has not completely of eventually when you get to work in Bollywood, you have to come to Bombay, but the path to go to Bollywood probably has become a little more better if you are a good at your talent and you have showcased on the screen.
Amazing, Chanchal. So, what is it that you would say are the primary requirements of making dance and fitness as a career option versus having a hobby? Something that is good for you on weekends or in company, but need not be your go-to
See,
for.
now since COVID, fitness has become a part of everybody's life. It has become an awareness thing that, and it is actually very true. I mean, if you want to have a good older age life without any problems or health, I mean, better life, you have to have start your fitness journey from as early as possible. It's better to drill in your children from now, so that that becomes like how we brush your twice a day. That fitness, that thing should be in their body, that will actually help you to live better. I'm not telling longer, but let's when till whatever age you live better. Don't live in pain. So to live nicely, to be there for your family, you need to be fit. Your food and your fitness has to be taken care from as early as possible. So since COVID, that has changed a lot.
Right.
Everybody wants to do something. They don't want to live badly, they don't want to die, they don't want to, nobody of course starts to die, sorry. They want to live properly without any problem, because that health is wealth is
That
very,
is driven
very,
home, yes.
we don't realize at our 20s, but at the age of 40s you have really got it into your head, and COVID has taught. So that way the fitness market has opened up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There are, everybody is looking for somebody to teach them. They are not supposed self motivated. Even if they are, so say, if they're not self motivated, they look for trainers. If they're self motivated, they're looking for equipments. So the fitness industry, being a supplier in fitness industry, like providing mats or providing equipments, or that section, or as a trainer industry, also has increased. That is it.
right.
But yes, dance as a career to earn money, I currently at this position cannot say exactly everybody would be a great, they can earn very, very well. Yes, they can earn, but what is there now in Puri? Probably you will earn half the amount what you're earning in Bombay, but the requirement to live in Bombay is much
Right.
better. Cost
Three or
is
four
less.
teams, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that way, I cannot say in dance wise the money is there or not, but fitness wise, there is a growth in it, and there is always going to be there. It's not going to stop now.
Okay. What about corporate shows and those kind of avenues? Is that something that you have found is growing? And what are the requirements? What are the incidents you recall about? corporate shows where that must be
So
limited, right, in terms of what you're allowed to
no,
do?
so nowadays, we recently had Garba workshops in corporates. That was very interesting. So when we went to this workshop place, the office, they were all cabins. We were looking how
Right,
do we dance. Garba is a full circle kind of a dance. We were looking how do we
right.
dance now here? How do we do this? So then what we did is we stood in one of this bigger table, one of the table
Okay,
as a trainer. We stood there, and all the
okay.
people they made a group of three, 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 and we did this Garba workshop for like this in two, three corporate sections. So corporates always have been doing annual shows. Some of them used to do annual shows, but this nowadays they have a little bit of fitness oriented programs once a month, sometimes once a week also. Some of them are affiliated to some of the other fitness programs like that. But yes, there are corporates who regularly do it. They give a free complimentary program to the people. It is on the people to avail it, but mostly all of them avail it because it is a great break for them.
Yeah,
And
it's a
some
complete
of them
break.
do also do workshops, monthly workshops. That way also they do.
Okay, okay. That, you know, is literally how so many more avenues for revenue have opened up as compared to, let's say, uh,
Even
10, 15, 20
online
years ago.
training has
Yeah.
opened up. Online teaching of fitness.
Okay, okay. So what happens there? How do you manage to get clients in for online teaching? Or are you
So in
pursuing that
COVID times, it was very sudden. The market was
largely
spreading.
online?
The
Yeah,
one class
yeah.
was there; it used to spread and all. But after the COVID has gone, people like the physical, being
Right,
together and all that is there. But still, there are many people who still pursue online. If you like the trainer, basically, people are. That they don't think about the medium. They just feel that I am connected with the teacher. That's as a teacher it is very important to establish that connection with the client, that faith, that trust, that say motivation, that inspiration has to be given from a trainer, so that if once you establish with the client doesn't leave you. So
right,
there, so it be it online or offline, but yes, Zoom and all have created really greater platforms to run online classes, and there are many running, not
right,
with
right,
us
right.
less, but many are running.
Many of them. So, what is the essential difference? What are the kind of differences in traits between being a great performer and being a great teacher?
Now I'll come to this also. Everyone, there are many dancers, but there is a way to teach. Teaching may
Okay,
not be a part of everybody's game. Yes, you may learn and become a better and better teacher. I won't say no to that. But to perform is a different thing. And to teach and bring that interest in that child is another thing. And when a teacher is able to bring that interest, bring that drive, make sure that child is looking forward to the class, that's where you become a great teacher. That becomes an achievement for yourself. For me, I told you since bachpan I've been teaching my brothers, and also that little teaching ingredient has been there in me, and I love teaching kids, the
right.
younger ones, especially the very toddler ones, 5 years, 6 years. They are just so much of love. They have full
Yeah,
of love for you. I teach them to get that love. That's my happy thing to that. Otherwise, the choreography's teaching is again very interesting to do, because it really pulls up the wires in your brain when you have to choreograph. Especially, you get challenges. Na? Sometimes you get a non-dancer to choreograph. Sometimes you get a dancer to choreograph is a different kind of a challenge, because you need
right,
to get the best out of that person.
right,
And what can be the best thing. But when you are teaching a non-dancer, it is a challenge as a choreographer ki कैसा ऐसा छुपाऊं कि वो dancer दिखे. How do I make it choreograph in a way that he doesn't look like a non-dancer? So that's a
right,
different challenge we need to do. Both are interesting. Sometimes all also depends on the client. If the client is good, it is a good thing to do. Sometimes the clients are not in the not they also because why it is because everybody sees social media. They have an expectation कि तो मैं तो भी माधुरी दीक्षित हूँ ना. So that way some people do not understand that they are not that well trained to perform well, but their expectations, or they think everything can be done so easily, but when it comes to their body or when it comes to the time, they don't have that. So those unreasonable expectations when they have and they come in, that is difficult to handle as a
Difficult part to handle.
yeah.
Okay.
When they
Okay.
don't have it, or they have that reality check, then it becomes easier for as a
Get
teacher.
enough. Yeah. Wonderful, Chanchal. We've had a interesting hour. And in conclusion, is there anything that you would like to say to people who are entering the business or people who are pursuing this as a hobby, or how would you like to end the
I
show?
already mentioned that in the interview, but let me summarize that point, which, as because your whole podcasting is about the career, I would
Right.
tell, as a dance, go for any Indian classical dance. India provides that path. They have the path of exams, they have the path of recognition, they have the path of awarding, they have shows for you. Government will sponsor for you if you are good at it. So there is a definite path in an Indian classical dance. Western dances yet do not have. Yes, reality shows have opened up, but again, it is your hard work and your luck to bring to get limelight. But even after getting limelight, there are a lot who have not achieved what they want to. Still
Right.
better than what we had in our generations. That is there. Now, otherwise, business wise, probably a dance itself, a model might not work to sustain so well. You need to have a multi activity dance rooms, or you need to have um, some versatile team who can do dance and fitness. That way probably you can run it, but fitness itself has a good scope in the industry here in the world right now. Yeah, that would be my experience from these many years of being in dance and fitness.
Chanchal Patra, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a
Thank
pleasure talking to you and understanding your journey. And every guest, I have learned something new from every single guest who has come onto the show. I think your attitude, your internal awakening of dance as a mode of expression for you has been a realization. May you go on to greater successes and all the best for the future. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Next week, we'll be back with another guest, another career journey. Until then, keep watching My First Job, the podcast. Thank you.